Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'm going to be installing this RCI universal bed rack on my 2020 Ford Ranger. I did an update video last week and originally thought it was going to take, with the current pandemic situation, was going to take a couple weeks. They had it on back order, but it ended up only taking about 2 weeks since ordering it. I ordered it from Stage 3 Motorsports, shipped directly from RCI in Colorado, so I delivered yesterday. So I'm going to install it today. I'm going to head over to my parents, and they've got a nice big flat driveway that I can set all the hardware out and install it a little bit easier than on my driveway or inside my garage. I've also got these recovery boards that I bought on Amazon. I will link them in the description below. I'm just going to attempt to mount them on there real quick. Obviously, as I get more gear, and like say eventually what I was wanting to do is put a tent on the Ranger. I'll have to kind of change things around, but I wanted to get a few things kind of mounted up on here today. So about to head to the hardware store to try to figure out a solution to mount those, and I'll install the bed rack, so stay tuned. Alright, I'm at my parents' house now. I got these boxes unloaded. I'll unbox them here in a second, get everything laid out. I also went to Home Depot and got hopefully some mounting hardware that should allow me to mount these running or recovery boards onto the rack. So we'll get started on here now. Alright guys, I got everything bolted up and roughly measured out the width. All the bolts, all the carriage bolts, I just did hand tight so that I could pull it apart to get it to the exact width of my Ranger's truck bed, so that we can then clamp it down with the C-clamps. So we're going to go ahead and lift it on the truck and get it finished installed. Here we go. Like that. Alright, we got the rack up here on the bed. I've installed 2 C-clamps on the closest to the tailgate so far, and tighten them down, and I'm shaking it. It's even just with these 2, the rack's not going anywhere. I pre-measured it out to the width of the truck and got it pretty close. So once you get it up here on the bed rails, it's pretty easy just to push it back, or pull it back rather, on each side, and then that way you get the proper length. But yeah, even with these 2 clamps, it's not going anywhere. Eventually I will get a tent. So what I probably will do after I get a tent, that way I will bolt it to the truck That way, if I need, in the meantime, if I need to move it back or forth just to accommodate whichever tent I get, I can without, you know, having to put multiple holes in my truck. So I'm going to finish this up by getting all the hardware installed and torqued down. Alright guys, just finished the rack install on the bed of the truck. Let me do a quick walk around here just so you can see what it looks like actually mounted on the truck. This is the 12-inch rack, so it sits a little bit over the roof, or a little bit under the roof rather. Now the install wasn't too difficult. It does require a second helping hand to do the last half of it, to get it actually on the bed. But ultimately it's not too hard of a job. Just takes a little bit to bolt all these bolts together and get it together, because there's quite a bit of them, and then just lifting it up and then bolting it and securing it to your truck. All in all, it took me about, I'd say about an hour and a half, 2 hours worth of actual work. When you do filming and stuff like that, it usually takes a little bit longer in between. Now you'll notice, like I mentioned, I went and got some hardware to mount my recovery boards onto the side of the truck, or the side of the rack. And what I ended up doing is just getting a little like T-handle and a 5/8 bolt, or 5/16 bolt, but these are a little long. I didn't really measure, I just kind of guessed and actually ended up getting something a little too long, so I'll have to get some shorter bolts. That's not that big of a deal. But while I was also at Home Depot, I picked up these rigid cases, tool cases here. Just you use for, you know, truck tools and truck storage. You know, maybe throw some tie downs, rope, stuff like that, you know, as well as tools in one of them. And all I did for these was just mount them up with some bolts, and I'll put a little dab of silicone on the inside to make them watertight. They do have like weather stripping around the outside edge, as well as little provisions to add a lock on them. So now the truck will obviously change as I get a tent, because I can see here one of the issues that I'm going to run into, and again it's going to depend on whichever tent I get, is that my tool case here is going to, or these tool cases are probably going to be too tall, or sit too high rather, and the tent probably won't fold out. But again, that's going to kind of depend on whichever tent I get. I'll probably end up trying to fabricate a little bracket and put them in underneath here on the inside, and then that way I can do Rotopax fuel and water on the outside or something like that. But anyways guys, this was just the quick install video for the RCI 12-inch universal rack that I put on here on my 2020 Ford Ranger. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope it helps you if you're looking at this rack, and I'll see you in the next video.